Peace. 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 We are talking about how black are you? How black are you? I'm live on YouTube and Instagram. Turn this up. Test, 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 test. I think that's going up. Should be. Whatever. People should hear me fine on Instagram. Blackity black. Exactly. We're gonna talk about how black you are. Uh, the book I'll be reading from is on riseofthemoors.org. Click on books and other literature. Scroll down, and you will see black is a slave status in the United States. Right here. Oops. Zoomed in a little too much. There it is, right there. Let me make it bigger on YouTube. Streamlabs is cool, but sometimes it's annoying. Well, I could make hotkeys and all that, but I'm not trying to do it. Also, side note, nothing related to hotkeys at all. Let me know if y'all want. So according to my YouTube analytics, I think the average longest watch time consecutive is 26 minutes. So I've made a few videos that were 26 minutes. Let me know if y'all want the longer ones or the shorter ones. Which ones you prefer. But anyway, click on riseofthemoors.org, books and other literature. Black is a slave status in the United States. For the whopping price of $9.99. That's right, $9.99. Run me that bag. I'm just joking. That's what I'll be reading from. And a free source, free reference source, riseofthemoors.org. You hover over res judicata right here. You go to nationality, citizenship, and sovereignty. Click on that. Right, so we're going to be reading from Black is a slave status in the United States. We're not going to read the whole thing. What we are going to read, however, is this. Office of Management and Budget, Directive Number 15, Race and Ethnic Standards for Federal Statistics and Administrative Reporting, as adopted in 1977. And here's the reference. We'll just click on that. Oh, look. Imagine that. That's the reference. See if we can go back. It says these classifications should not be interpreted as being scientific or anthropological in nature, nor should they be viewed as determinants of eligibility for participation in any federal program. Black, a person having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. Now, that may sound like it has anything to do with anthropology or science because of the words that are used, the words such as origins and racial groups. That may make you think that this has anything to do with science and anthropology at all, but it doesn't. It should not be interpreted as being scientific or anthropological in nature. So black is not scientific, nor is it anthropological. And we'll go into those definitions. So these classifications are not scientific nor anthropological, thus they must simply be sociological. Science is defined as any system of knowledge that is concerned with the physical world and its phenomena, and that entails unbiased observations and systematic experimentation. In general, a science involves a pursuit of knowledge covering general truths or the operations of fundamental laws. So this classification of black has nothing to do with a system of knowledge that is concerned with the physical world. It has nothing to do with the phenomena of this physical world, nor does it have to do with unbiased observations. So you can't just look at someone unbiasedly and then observe that they're black, because then you would be using science. And this classification, black, should not be interpreted as being scientific or anthropological in nature, nor does it determine your eligibility for participation in any federal program. Guess what reparations would be? It would be a program established by the federal government. So by identifying as black, that does not determine your eligibility to receive reparations. And this definition was from Britannica.com. The next definition, anthropology, is defined as the science of humanity, which studies human beings in aspects ranging from the biology and evolutionary history of Homo sapiens to the features of society and culture that decisively distinguish humans from other animal species. So this has to do with the evolutionary history of humans, which means what? Dealing with the origin of humans, right? So these words and the definition of what a black person is sound like they have to do with anthropology, which is the study of human beings. That's what it sounds like, because we're talking about the origins of people. But according to the United States government, here's the .gov, the United States government, these classes, class system, like in apartheid South Africa, should not be interpreted as being scientific or anthropological. So according to science, we're not black. According to the study of human development, we're not black. That again was from Britannica.com, the Encyclopedia Britannica. This is from Merriam-Webster's Dictionary, Anthropology. Oops, I clicked on it by an accident. But that's the source. Let me go back. This is from Merriam-Webster's The Science of Human Beings. The study of human beings and their ancestors through time and space, and in relation to physical character, environmental and social relations, and culture. Theology dealing with the origin, nature, and destiny of human beings. So, our ancestors through time and space cannot be black. Our physical character, skin tone, is not black. There is no black culture. There is no black social relations. There is no black origin. Oops, I'm about to click on the link again. There is no origin of black people. There is no nature of black people, and there is no destiny of black people. Black and white have nothing to do with anything scientific, nor is it related to physical character, culture, or the nature of human beings. It is nothing more than social engineering for the purposes of creating a caste system within a class system for the illusion of freedom. The class system is as follows. You have the upper class, the middle class, and the lower class. But then you have castes within the class. So there is a caste system within the class system. Many factors are included which determine one to a given class. These factors include artificial caste indicators such as skin color, zip code, income, educational level, and a host of other subtle factors. But the majority of the upper class include those most commonly referred to as white, with a black minority, while the lower class is the complete opposite, a black majority and a white minority. This creates the illusion of fairness. With other things, such as the illusion of fairness in a capitalist system that requires someone to lose for another to win, we are told we can work our way through the class system that shouldn't be created in the first place. And now here's a link or a source from usafacts.org. Articles, white people own 86% despite making 60 population. I'm not sure what that is. But here's what it says. White people own 86% of wealth and make up 60% of the population. So again, the majority upper class is the caste system of being white, which has nothing to do with science or anthropology. White wealth is diversified among real estate, equities, and other assets, whereas non-white wealth is mostly in pensions and real estate. According to the data from the Federal Reserve in 1990, so this is from the Federal Reserve, so that would be a governmental source. White households owned 90.7% of household wealth in the United States, whereas black households owned 3.8%, and Hispanics holds 2.1%. These numbers have changed little over the past 30 years, with white households now owning 85% of wealth in 2019, and black households owning 4.2%, and Hispanic households owning 3.1%. Most of the white wealth decline is due to other racial groups attaining a share of wealth. So that again goes back to someone has to lose in order for someone to win in capitalism, and how within the upper class, the caste is majority, quote unquote, white, and the lower class, which is a majority black caste, is majority black. Right, and these numbers prove that from the United States federal government. And then here's a nice little federalreserve.org where they show that. Right here, this is where they show it. The green is the so-called white. The dark green is so-called white. The light green is so-called black. Notice how these colors are confusing. And the little yellowish line is so-called Hispanic, and then there's other. I don't know what other is. And again, federalreserve.org, we'll just click on that link, open in a new tab, and we'll show it. This is from the United States government. Someone said wow in the comments. You shouldn't be surprised, bro. Look at the projects in the ghettos. Look at the majority of the people. That is a direct result of the government's use of redlining through their fair housing schemes and the promotion of home acquisition. While that's loading, we'll see what else. Oh no, we're not going to read any of that. We'll just leave it at that. We'll scroll back up. So within this little picture of the class system, you have the upper class, middle class, lower class, but then you have classes within the class system. You have upper class, middle upper class, lower upper class, upper middle class, middle class, lower middle class. Then you have upper lower class, middle lower class, and lower class. And you know, these are indicators by I would say the structure of people's homes. You have the housing projects. Obviously, that's lower class. Then you have multifamily homes. That would be middle lower class. Then you would have, single family homes. That would be upper lower class. And you notice that, you have the projects, and then right outside the projects, you have the multi-family units. And then a little ways away from there, you see the single family units. So you can visibly see this. And then there's a divider, mostly by, school districts and things like that, or business districts. There's a divider where once you stop seeing sidewalks, you're entering into between upper middle class and upper. It's kind of hard to specify this one, because there are situations where I would say once you stop seeing sidewalks, you're entering into middle class with a few sprinkled lower upper class houses. And then once you start entering, like, houses on water, and you rarely see police, you're going into the upper classes, and stuff like that. Or like in the woods, where people have these large estates in the middle of the woods. Those are like upper class people where their family lives in rural areas, but they work in the city as judges and lawyers and doctors and, you know politicians. Those are the people where their houses are tucked away, you know where most so-called black people don't even go, and where there is a less of a police presence. So the more police you see, the lower the class. The more sidewalks you see, the lower the class. The less sidewalks you see, the upper the class. Um, it's pretty crazy. Let's see if this loaded. It's still loading. I don't know why. Let's refresh it. I don't know why it's taking so long. But you see here that they are in fact classes. And just to scroll up to this case, uh, we see the application for naturalization. The applicant has performed all the necessary formalities, and the matter now comes up first upon his right to naturalization, and next, whether conceding that he belongs to the class of persons entitled to the benefit of naturalization. So we're dealing with classes of people. Now, this is dealing with, let's see if we can indicate. Well, this is just status in general, whether you belong to the class of persons entitled to something. And of course, most Moors that watch my stuff already know about how nationality determines your political status, and how your status is your standing state and condition, especially with reference to third parties such as the state, and in relation to your property, because status is a state. And political status deals with the capacities and incapacities, as well as the enforcement of rights. So this right here proves that within the United States Courts of Appeals, dealing with naturalization, which is the subject of citizenship, right? And then, of course, this man right here, same skin color as me, basically, is classified as a white person. So his status is white, but he's fighting to be black for some reason. So remember, this directive right here defines a white person as people having origin of the original peoples of Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. It defines a black person as a person having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. Now, he's arguing that he's from Egypt, therefore he is from Africa, and therefore a black person. But that has to do with science and anthropology. These terms, white person and black person, have nothing to do with science and anthropology. And he's referencing this directive, number 15. He's referencing it. So he's using this directive that says it has nothing to do with science to argue in favor of him being black. But the government doesn't recognize him as black because he's in a different status. Uh, and it's just a shame that these are the conditions that we're in. It's not funny at all. I'm laughing because I'd rather do that than cry. But it's still a shame. Also, this right here, we don't gotta read into that. This is sufficient enough. If you have questions, put it in the comments. If you have proof to the contrary, where the United States government says that white and black are scientific, put it in the comments. And I know you won't be able to because I've read a lot of federal case law when I was in jail regarding the issue of black and white and how the federal government said there is no white race, there is no black race, there is no Caucasian race. These things are not real. So good luck proving that they are real. Oh, before that, I meant to read this. This is on riseofthemoors.org. Again, res judicata, nationality, citizenship, and sovereignty. Click on it. It'll take you here. Scroll down. And you will see this. This is a federal case. And the judge, Dixon, says, what then does nationality encompass if it is not to be construed as being synonymous and coexistive with national origin? So nationality is synonymous and coexists with national origin. And it means a people having a common origin, tradition, and language, and capable of forming or actually constituting a nation state or an ethnic group constituting one element of a larger unit. So when our people read this, these classes of social engineered classifications of people, of black and white, they think that it means a people having a common origin, but it's not. Only nationality is a people of a common origin. And it has to do with your bloodline. Obviously, if you have the common origin, you share the same bloodline. And this is, of course, why we say we're Moors. And Moors, the word Moor derived from Moab. We come from the bloodline of Moab. And we have a common origin. Our tradition is the same, and our language should be the same, but obviously we were deprived of that. And we are capable of forming a nation state. We don't actually constitute one yet because we're still too busy not prioritizing doing this. For some reason, we do other things, which is why I teach and talk about civics, because that's more important than most of the other things that Moors are deciding to spend their time on. Nationality, since people of the common origin, language, and tradition are capable of forming and actually constituting a nation state, it has absolutely everything to do with politics, right? So we see that in addition to the national origin definition, nationality is also defined as a legal relationship involving allegiance on the part of an individual and usually protection on the part of the state, meaning the nation state, and a membership in a particular nation, which means citizenship. When you're a member of a nation, that means citizenship, right? Nationality determines the political status of the individual, especially with reference to allegiance. So again, that's citizenship. This membership in a particular nation and reference to allegiance is citizenship. That's what it is. The legal relationship or political status definition, although not coterminous, I'm not sure what that is, with citizenship, approaches such an understanding. So although at times it differs, it's still, for the most part, the same as citizenship. And I talked about this in another video I did with the example of a person from Uganda and a person from China, how a Ugandan national would be by birth a Ugandan citizen, has the right to expatriate and become a Chinese citizen. So this is why it isn't always the same as citizenship, because you have the right to expatriate and declare your allegiance to any nation of people you want. So your citizenship may change, but your bloodline does not. Right? Defining citizenship as being the status of being a citizen who is a member of a state. See that? Where is it at? Member of a particular state or particular nation, or a native or naturalized person who owes allegiance to a government and is entitled to protections from it. So protection from it. So showing you two different statuses. A person who was born, meaning bloodline, that's nationality, or a person who is naturalized, who owes allegiance to a government. So that's again where you can change your citizenship, but you can't change your bloodline. So citizenship is related to allegiance, while also nationality is related to citizenship. But since people can change their allegiance, there are times where they're not always synonymous. But there has to be laws to prove those types of things. There has to be some type of naturalization law and process that takes place. Right? Now, in this case, we see another federal case where nationality includes citizenship. Nationality claims is understood to include citizenship claims. So whenever you declare your nationality, you're declaring your citizenship. Every single time, according to the United States federal laws. This is res judicata, therefore it is common law. And look, this is from the Office of Immigration Litigation. So who's best fit to talk about citizenship other than the Office of Immigration Litigation? Exactly. And we see that government can't force you to be a citizen, nor can they divest you of citizenship, unless, of course, you're a naturalized citizen. See, state citizenship, in my conviction, that citizenship is not subject to the general powers of the national government, and therefore cannot be divested in the exercise of these powers. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You're not black. It's a classification. It's a slave status throughout history. That's what this book goes over. How slaves did not include Moors. The status of the Negro. The term Negro and black is the same thing. It's just a different language. And Negro and black both became synonymous with enslavement. It has nothing to do with your skin color. In fact, here's I was going to read it earlier, but this is dealing with how Native Americans, who are Moors, commonly referred to as Indians, but they're not Indians, were classified as Negroes. It's a status, not a skin color. It's a slave status, not a skin color. This man is classified as white. Does his skin look white to you? No, it doesn't. That's it.